Hi, welcome back to our blog. I'm Wayne Plowman, Director of Sales at Charleston Homes. Today we're going to talk about financing, and I have one of Omaha's finest loan officers in the city. It's Melody Fairbanks, and she has lots of expertise in this area. And today we want to talk about the three most important things you need to know about financing your new home, and you want to know that information prior to writing your purchase agreement. So, Melody, I've been talking. Welcome, by the way.
Thank you, Wayne.
We appreciate her coming out in the models on this cold February afternoon. But we've been hearing a lot of information about interest rates and the possibility of interest rates going up. And although we don't have a crystal ball to predict the future, I know that loan officers and stockbrokers track this information because they want to try to predict the future. So what are you hearing about interest rates?
Exactly, Wayne. We've gone through a decade of very low, phenomenal interest rates. However, last year, what triggered all that was the government purchasing over $1 trillion in mortgage-backed securities. That was a huge supply of money to help fund mortgages. As of March 31st of this year, that's going to stop. And so it's the old supply and demand. There's still money out there, but there won't be as much. So we do anticipate these all-time record lows going up.
So I want to be clear about this. So like at the end of March of this year,
correct,
these things stop and these purchases stop, and there's a high likelihood that the interest rates will start to increase. And for our viewers, if I use a typical home, in Omaha, $200,000 purchase price at a 5% interest rate, that's a pretty affordable mortgage. What happens if those rates go up to 6% in the next 6 months?
Obviously, that does have a significant impact, not only on your budget, but also on your qualifications. That difference that you just gave, 5% versus 6%, is going to be about $125 a month in your monthly payment. So maybe you're buying a $180,000 house because there's going to be about $20,000 worth of impact on what you can qualify for when interest rates rise a whole 1%.
So at the end of the day, you can't get the house maybe you really thought you could get in the future because you're not going to qualify for as much mortgage. And it doesn't seem like maybe $125 a month isn't a lot, but if you start doing that math times 30 years, I could use that money. That'd be a good thing, right?
Definitely
all like that in our paycheck. You know what? And the second thing I've been seeing a lot of, I process all of our contracts just prior to closing when I go to the title company. In the loan program changes I have seen over the last 12 months, I think are unprecedented. I mean, the way lenders and the paperwork and what's required from customers and builders and from loan officers to get a home closed on time these days is getting tougher. And just tell me a little bit about what you've been seeing in that arena.
Well, it's definitely been an interesting past 12 months, Wayne. We've seen many, many changes, actually about 300 changes to be exact. And it's simply because of the pendulum swings both ways. It was very lenient, very lax, which is what got the country in the real estate predicament it is in today. And now, of course, it's kind of going back to what I call the 80s, where things are fully documented. It really is important to get with your lender and determine where do you stand in that picture. Your lender wants to help you. There's money out there and there are loans to be made, but your lender wants to be a part of that and structure and coach you in what you need to do to qualify.
Sounds good. And I noticed one of the things Melody just said was there were over 300 changes in the past year. And when you're choosing a lender, whether it be Melody or anybody else, and there's plenty of great lenders, I'm sure, and institutions
Absolutely.
in Omaha, and there's plenty of money to be borrowed. The thing is, when you're dealing with loans, and particularly your entire life savings, you want to make sure you're dealing with a professional. And that's why we have preferred lenders at our company, because when you have 300 changes, a professional needs to be on top of those changes so you're getting a great deal and we're closing the home on time. So the last thing I want to talk about to wrap this up is just credits and credit scores. And you hear all this stuff on the news all the time about credit scores changing and access to credit scores, and I just want to, maybe you can expand a little bit about what people should know when they're about to apply for a loan about their credit scores.
Absolutely, Wayne. One of those many changes that happened last year is that it's not only your credit score, it's the program, it's how much money you're going to put down. All of that plays into a part of what type of financing you can qualify for, what your interest rate might be. So the old days of just calling around and getting interest rates isn't applicable to you until you've really applied. So it's very important to go into your lender and get pre-approved so they can sit down, they can coach you. if there's something on your report that's not correct, gives you the opportunity to work and get that blemish taken care of. Or if it, well, you know, it was that time when I was in college or whatever, or I had this little bruise on my credit report, don't be embarrassed about it.
It's happened to the best of them, hasn't it?
Absolutely. The lender wants to help you, and they can help coach you in what you need to do to help correct that situation.
Very cool. So, again, to summarize the 3 most important things you want to know about financing prior to purchasing your new home or writing a purchase agreement. Interest rates may go up. Again, we don't have a crystal ball, but you need to pay attention to that. Number 2, loan programs are constantly changing, so you want to work with a professional. And number 3, know and understand your credit scores. The thing I want to make sure that everybody's clear about is there is plenty of money to be loaned.
Absolutely.
And it really doesn't have to be this hard, scary process. Just get the professional and they'll walk you through the process. It's not that difficult to fill out a loan app and get a phone call back or a quick 30-minute meeting to determine whether or not you can purchase a home. You know, sometimes you go into a loan officer and it works out better than you expect, and sometimes they say you need to wait 6 more months. It's okay, but having the information before you get committed on paper and start writing earnest deposits to people is a really smart thing to do. So Melody, thanks a lot for coming out today. I know it was tough getting through the snow to get out here, but we really appreciate it. To wrap this thing up, feel free to visit our webpage, charlestonhomesomaha.com. On our webpage, there's a link for financing. Of course, Melody's link is there. There's lots of free information there. It doesn't cost you a dime, and you can really get yourself educated before you start making big financial decisions about purchasing a new home. We're here to help, so let us know how we can help. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.
Thanks, Wayne.
Thanks.